Hi guys, it's Mrs. Santiago here, and today you are going to be reviewing the present tense of AR, ER, and IR verbs as they relate to the food verbs for the food chapter. I'm in your OneNote, chapter 6, page 31, review of AR, ER, and IR food verbs. I'm going to eliminate the table of contents, and I'm going to make this big. So it says choose one of the food verbs below each chart and conjugate it as an example of each type of ending. Whoops, that should be AR, ER, and IR. Then complete the practice. First, use the food verbs to logically complete the sentences and conjugate the verb that you choose to match the person doing the action in the sentence. Then create two original sentences with food verbs in the present tense. There is a yellow box at the bottom that you have to do. So I'm scrolling down so you can see. Those are the two originals, and then there are 5 practice sentences. Okay, let's get started. So, conjugating the verbs, first let's make sure we know what they mean. Cenar, to eat dinner. So I'm down here at the bottom. Cenar, to eat dinner. Cortar, to cut. Ayudar, to help. Calentar, that's an E to IE stem changer, so I'm going to leave that one off. Okay. Mezclar, to mix. Preparar, to prepare. Sacar, to take out. Arreglar, to fix. Necesitar, to need. Desayunar, to eat breakfast. Pasar, to pass. Tomar, to take or drink. Let's choose one and conjugate it. Let's do cortar, to cut. So I'm going to write it at the top of the chart. Cortar equals to cut. If it's a regular verb, all of these are going to be a 2-step process. Chop off the ending and then add in your new endings, which is the conjugation. So it's just a chop and add. So for cortar, I'm going to chop off the AR and I'm left with the stem court. I'm going to write that everywhere. Court, 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 court. Okay, now I need to add back in the endings. Think back to the AR verb song, o, as, a, amos, an. Yo always ends in O, so it becomes corto. Tú cortas. Él, ella, usted, any one person, one vowel, and the vowel comes from the ending. Corta. Nosotros ends in os, and so does this one, cortamos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes, 2 or more people, they go in the van. I remember that. I put van so that I can remember this ends in an N. So again, it's o, as, a, amos, an. Corto, cortas, corta, cortamos, cortan. Okay, let's go down to the ER verbs. Again, a simple chop and add. We only have 3 verbs listed, comer, beber, and vender. To eat, to drink, and to sell. Let's take to drink. We're going to do beber. So I'm going to take beber and write it at the top of the chart. Beber equals to drink, define it. Now this is a chop and add. I'm going to chop off the ending. Oops, I'm going to chop off the ending and I'm going to write the stem everywhere. Okay, so B-E-B, beb, 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 beb. Okay, let me get rid of these 2 little eyes I drew with my palm by accident. Okay. All right, now we're going to add in the endings. So instead of o, as, a, amos, an, it's o, es, a, amos, en, because our vowel comes from the ending of the word. So yo ends in o, bebo. You have 2 big toes, and I remember toes ends in an S, and so does this, bebes. El, ella, usted, any one person, one vowel. bebe. Nosotros ends in os, and so does this, bebemos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes, any two or more people, they go in the van, so it's beben. So it's o, es, a, hemos, en, bebo, bebes, bebe, bebemos, beben. Okay, muy bien. Again, to eat, to drink, to sell. Let's go down to the IR verbs. Chop and add again. There are 4 verbs here. Añadir, to add. Abrir, to open. Dividir, to divide. Consumir, to consume. Let's do añadir. I'm going to take it and write it at the top of the chart. Añadir. Sorry, that's a little messy. Añadir equals to add. Like when you're adding something to a sandwich or a recipe. The tilde is important because it's not añadir, it's añadir. So it's a chop and add, simple chop and add. What am I going to chop off? I'm going to chop off the IR. I'm left with the root, and I'm going to write that root everywhere. Añad, 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 añad. Okay, now I'm going to add in the endings. Yo ends in O, añado. Two, remember, ER and IR take the same ending. Two big toes, añades. Usted, any one person, añade. Nosotros, os, aña. Ooh, this one goes back to the original, which is an I. For IR verbs, you've got to be careful in the nosotros. It's añadimos. Okay. Ellos, ellas, ustedes, any two or more people, they go in the van. That's going to remind me that it's añaden. Okay. So again, añadir to add, abrir to open, dividir to divide, consumir to consume. Now, this is your work on your own. What verb makes sense? Yo blank los tomates para usar en mi sándwich. What do I have to do to the tomatoes? Find a verb that's listed on this page. Example, I'm going to take cut. I'll do the first one with you. So just to help me, I'm going to write it on the end, cortar. Now I have to take it, conjugate it to match yo. Chop and add. Yo corto los tomates para usar en mi sándwich. So finish dos, tres, cuatro, and cinco, and then 2 original sentences. Please don't use Google Translate. Use your mind. Make sure that you've done all of the videos in Schoology about reviewing how to conjugate AR, ER, and IR verbs. This is important as we move into commands next week on Tuesday. Okay, gracias.